People think you became cold, but they never saw how many times you stayed soft and got hurt for it. And the worst part is, no one notices the moment you change. There is no warning, no clear breaking point. One day you are open, expressive, full of emotion, and slowly, without realizing it, you begin to disappear from your own feelings. Not because you wanted to, but because feeling everything so deeply started to hurt more than staying silent ever could. You were not born distant. You did not wake up one day and decide to shut people out. It happened quietly, through experiences that kept repeating the same message in different forms. Trust, followed by disappointment. Love, followed by neglect. Effort, followed by silence. And every time you tried again, something inside you learned. Maybe I should feel less so it hurts less. That is how emotional distance is created, not by hatred, but by exhaustion. There is a point where your heart gets tired of being misunderstood. You stop explaining yourself. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you realize that even your clearest words are sometimes misread. So you choose silence. And slowly, silence becomes your comfort. Not because it feels good, but because it feels safer than being emotionally exposed again. People start calling you cold at that stage. They notice the quietness, the lack of reaction, the emotional control you now carry. But they don't see the memories behind that control. They don't see how many times you overreacted in the past and got punished for it. How many times you cared too much and felt foolish for doing so. How many times you stayed awake replaying conversations, wondering where you went wrong for simply being real. So now you stop showing too much. You stop reacting too quickly. You stop attaching deeply. Not because you don't feel, but because you feel too much. And you learned that feeling too much comes with a price. And then comes the numbness, the strange space where nothing excites you the way it used to. Not because life lost its color, but because your mind started protecting itself by lowering emotional intensity. Even happiness feels muted sometimes. Even sadness feels distant. It is like watching your own life from behind a glass wall. And people misunderstand this the most. They think you don't care anymore. But what they don't understand is, caring was never the issue. It was caring in the wrong environments, with the wrong expectations, with people who did not know how to hold your emotions gently. So your mind adapted. It reduced emotional access as a form of survival. There is also something deeper that no one talks about. The loneliness that comes with being emotionally self-contained. Because when you stop expressing what you feel, people assume you don't need connection. But inside, there is still a part of you that longs to be understood without having to explain everything. A part that still hopes someone will notice the silence behind your smile. But you learn to hide that part too. You learn to say, "I'm fine," when you are not. You learn to laugh at things that don't feel funny. You learn to sit in rooms full of people and still feel like no one truly sees you. And over time, you get so good at pretending that even you start believing the version of you that appears calm on the outside. But internally, it is not calm, it is controlled. And there is a difference. Controlled emotions are not absence of pain. They are pain that has been organized, contained, locked in places where it cannot spill out again. Because you remember what happened when it did spill out. You remember being dismissed. You remember being told you were too sensitive. You remember being made to feel like your emotions were the problem. So now you protect yourself by feeling less outwardly. But protection always comes at a cost. Sometimes you miss who you used to be, the version of you that could get excited without hesitation, trust without overthinking, love without analyzing every outcome. That version did not disappear. It just got buried under experiences that taught you caution. And now, even when someone treats you kindly, a part of you waits for the shift. For the moment it changes. For the moment they become like the others. Because disappointment has trained your mind to expect loss even in comfort. That is not coldness. That is memory disguised as caution. And the most painful truth is this: you are not difficult to love. You are just tired of loving in places where love did not feel safe. But here is something important you may have forgotten along the way. You are still soft underneath everything, still capable of depth, still capable of connection, still capable of feeling in ways that are rare and real. None of that was destroyed. It was only covered. Emotional pain does not erase who you are. It reshapes how you protect yourself. And maybe, for a long time, that protection was necessary. It helped you survive situations that would have broken you otherwise. It helped you keep going when your heart felt heavy. It helped you maintain control when everything inside you felt uncertain. But survival mode is not meant to be permanent. There will come a moment when someone or something does not demand your emotional armor. When you don't have to shrink your feelings to be accepted. When you are not punished for being sensitive. When you are not asked to be less human in order to be understood, and in that moment, you might slowly realize something powerful. You were never cold. You were just hurt in ways that made warmth feel dangerous. And even now, beneath all the silence, your heart is still there, waiting for a place where it does not have to protect itself anymore. Not because it stopped feeling, but because it is finally ready to feel without fear.